Welcome back to the Cactus Atlas. If you've been following our 2025 Northern Tour, you know we fell in love with Glacier. Greenery like nothing we've seen before. Winding roads, tall, awe-inspiring peaks, snow even. But we have to move on, and once again we might have filmed just a bit too much. So rather than make a 2-hour video, we're breaking this one up over the next couple days. We think you'll see why. All right, I normally do these things outdoors. You saw some clips of my campsite, I believe, and it is all vacated, all packed up. It is almost an hour ahead of schedule. It's 7:11 a.m. My departure time is 8 a.m. every day. I give myself plenty of time to get ready if I need it. So things are looking good. Let's consult our black book of itinerary. All right, let's check our itinerary for today. Today is August the 1st of 2025. We're leaving Apgar Campground, and you can see the town we're going to. I give it away right here. Virginia City, Montana, and Nevada City. Technically Nevada City first. And I'm actually staying in a hotel tonight. I broke up my trip a little bit. I have a hotel stay tonight. Very cheap local hotel, like a boutique hotel in town. And I was surprised at how inexpensive some of these hotel stays are. As well as, that's about it, I guess. No having to set up camp for once. So I get a little bit of a break and a hot shower tonight and some privacy. But you can see we have a 5.5 hour commute to get to Nevada City. So I don't really have any stops planned in between here and there, although I will capture some road footage and I will stop. I saw a lot of historic markers on the way up here, so maybe I can hit 1 or 2 of those and we can see what they're about. But we got a little extra time because we're leaving early, but I do want to top off my fuel tank. I have probably about more than 3/4 of a tank, but I know there's not a lot in between here and there. So, and then maybe some coffee somewhere. All right, we're leaving Apgar Campground. You can kind of we'll do a drive through here. You can see for yourself. I'm on Loop B, so one-way loop. Haven't seen any bears yet on the trip. We still have plenty of areas though to go that have lots of bears. So we're gonna be in bear country for probably another week. We've got so many epic locations left on this trip. I don't even know. I'm just kind of in the middle of it right now and not really thinking about anything other than the moment. Thinking about it day by day, what I gotta do to achieve my goals. And I've been on top of it, like without exception, I would say, the whole time, knocking it out every single day, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm proud of this. And I'm surprised, how much energy and how energized and how into it I actually am, all things considered. So, been a really good trip so far. So the overall plan today is mainly just drive, but on the way up here I didn't really record a lot of road footage because the day I drove up here it rained kind of in the middle, like for a couple hours. Passed through like a weather system to get up here, so really couldn't record the road footage and just drove. And there are some beautiful spots in Montana, I tell you what, like a very scenic drive almost the whole way. So I'm hoping to get some of it on the way down to Virginia and Nevada City, but just like the Bannock Day, I fear I have a lot I'm gonna film and wanna film, so meaning this could be a long one, and if you like long ones, then you're in for a treat probably. If you don't like long ones, then you're in the wrong place. Hate to tell you that. All right, these are our last moments in Glacier National Park. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to come up here is, but I hope, if I'm healthy and one day have more leisure time, I'd love to come up here with my wife Amy. Is it here? I wasn't really paying good attention to where to go. I wasn't looking at the signs, so yeah, I think it's this way. So I'd like to come up here with my wife Amy, and all the places I get to go that she never gets to see. She's always seen them from the editor's chair, which she says she enjoys. But I'd rather, you know, one day be able to travel and take vacations and not film at all and just go places like I used to with others to enjoy it, you know. And I think I've said it before. I think I've been analyzing why I like to film and talk to myself essentially while I'm traveling, and I think it's simple. I travel alone, and I do like the aloneness. I mean, I've talked about that before. I do cherish that, but the filming, I think, is to compensate for not having someone to talk to. So it all works out, I guess, because you guys are my companions on these videos, and I try to make it feel like that for you. And in these, you know, really politically charged times, these emotional times, everybody, I don't care what side of politics you're on, I think everybody needs a break sometimes, right? I think that's one thing everybody can agree on, hopefully. And if that's true, really what I'm trying to do is make this a place for anyone that just needs to tap out for a little bit. Get away from it all. Get away from the doom scrolling, the short format, rot your brain, social media stuff, and then present an alternative, just the opposite, a protest against short format, almost making super long format, super long-winded, sit alongside me and travel videos. So when you get home from a stressful day of work, or you're tired of TikTok and Instagram, that I give you a home, a place to go where you're welcome and you can take your mind off of it for just a little while. And if I can achieve that for at least one other person, I feel like I've done something good. Did I tell you I'm excited not to have to set up a tent tonight? Although I've gotten so proficient at that. I mean, I've done it so many countless times already. You guys that have been watching the show know how much I've camped in this tent. It's a quality product, this REI tent. I think the Base Camp 4 is the product. I don't know if they make that particular model anymore. If they do, I should review it. And there's no better person to review that, I'm telling you. I don't know, I've lost count of how many nights I've slept in that. Probably, I'm gonna guess I'm in the months of time slept in that particular tent. It's not a buy it and then break it out once every couple years on the family camping trip type of tent. It is my home away from home. And we should honor it now with some, you know, a montage of all of the times I've used it now. I'm gonna try to make a concerted effort on these upcoming weeks to actually make food at the campground, my breakfasts. I have granola breakfast, I have dehydrated stuff like biscuits and gravy, coffee, and they're quite good too. I've had them before, so I really need to work on those. But every morning I get up, I get all like, yeah, let's get ahead of schedule, let's get there early so I have time later, and then I start skipping this and that, and then I buy a breakfast burrito. That's the only place, I think, if I had to critique my performance on this trip, it would be there. I think I could have saved a few bucks not buying like gas station coffees and a couple burritos. I've been spending some tourist dollar at Maverick Adventure Stop gas stations. I've never had a brand loyalty to a gas station chain before, but I guess I could say I have one to Maverick. They're just so clean. Like, I've never been in a dirty one ever. The bathrooms are always clean every time. I've eaten so many of their burritos, and they have some really good ones. They're, you know, they usually are the ones that they kind of sit under the heat lamp, but they have somebody working behind the counter. So I've never had one that felt like it was sitting out too long at all. They always feel fresh to me, or taste fresh. And they have self-checkout, which I know sounds kind of small, but I like self-checkout. I don't like to wait in line, and Little touches like that. Maverick. I think we'll probably pass one or two today, but I'll probably plug them when I get there, because I'll be your sponsor, Maverick. You want an adventurer to be your sponsor, the face of Maverick, the burrito eater? That's me. If you're wanting to come up here and you're not wanting to camp, you can't get a reservation inside the park, which is highly possible, unfortunately. This town, I want to say this is Hungry Horse is the town, and then up the road a little bit further is Columbia Falls, and then right after that Whitefish, kind of all in succession. And they're all wonderful looking places, and they're chock full of accommodation, and I don't think you'd go wrong with any of them. And if you want like access to restaurants and grocery stores and gas stations and auto parts stores and pretty much anything, any convenience you can find anywhere else, I would say Columbia Falls and Whitefish seem to be the two. And then Hungry Horse here has got a lot, but it's more kind of like the outside the national park touristy, like mom and pop kind of businesses. And then the further you go, more commercial, more big name type of stores. So I guess depending on your taste and your desire, you've got whatever. So there's something for everybody in this area. And I'm gonna film, I guess, more than I thought leaving here, just because it's so fantastic. I mean, look at these mountains. Kind of contrasting it with Glacier, where I just was. You don't have the really rocky, craggly peaks here. They're more gentle, like rolling but big, but covered in pine trees. So if you want to see more of me driving around forest roads in the backcountry of Montana, go back a couple weeks in our catalog, and I camped out here basically in the Flathead National Forest and fell in love, and I hope to be back. I hope I could see this area becoming, like, not inside Glacier National Park. It's beautiful in there too, but I'm just not a national park guy as much as I used to be. I'm more of a national forest, get out away from the crowds kind of guy now. Don't get me wrong, national parks are what they are for a reason, and you're not going to beat the scenery, but it's just crowded, that's all. There's this little pull-through espresso coffee. They have a lot of those up here, just drive up type of things. I was gonna get a shot of it for you. I think it's called like Copper Mountain, something like that. And it's kind of very similar to that cowgirl coffee business that I went to the other day. What is it called? Copper Mountain Coffee is the name of it. Right off of Montana 35. And I got a mocha, a cafe mocha, so I could compare it to what I got at the cowgirl coffee place. I was very impressed with theirs. This smells good. And it was perfect. It's like right like at the edge of where it's about to become barren and sparse, as you can see immediately. This is probably going to be very much like what much of the drive is going to be like, with better mountains and some good scenery along the way. But anyway, we'll do a taste test here. That's good. I might have to take a few more sips to make my mind up. This one's a little bit, I would say the cowgirl coffee one was more coffee, strong with the coffee, and a little bit less with the creaminess. And this one is a little bit heavier on the creaminess and a little bit like less in the boom and the coffee, but it's only a couple sips in, so we'll see. So I don't know if they made it put more cream in it or what they do there. It's good, it tastes good, it will do the job, I can already tell. But I usually drink coffee black, so that's who you're trying to impress. Not usually I don't usually like cream. I don't like the way it makes my mouth feel. You know, the coating you get, the aftertastes. Just, I like my coffee black. All right, I wanted to kind of break that up, get the coffee talk out of the way. So now we shall, for real, get some distance going, maybe check in a half an hour or something, or I think I'm gonna keep an eye out for some of these historic markers, because there are quite a few, and I just blew by them all, and I am curious, like what some of them are. If I see them, they're here in Montana, they've got they give you pretty good notice if one's coming up, so they do better in this state than many other states with their historic markers from what I've seen so far. This Arizona guy had to stop because I actually see fog. Now that's a rare sight for me. I haven't seen that in a long time. But I think this is Swan Lake. We drove by this and I didn't really stop. I think this is part of the Flathead National Forest. Thought we'd just get our eyes on it really quick. Take a quick leg stretch. Haven't been driving too long, but we're making good time. Very beautiful. It's very cool and chilly over here too. And the lake actually looks pretty deep. This probably is a good place to fish. Although I think I do not have my state license I think was only for a couple days. I didn't buy it for today, so I couldn't fish legally. But this is what I've been looking for, something like this. I can't even see the bottom like far in there, so I bet there's lake trout in here, and this would be, I just have a feeling now's the time to cast, but I can't. It's hard to know how to dress here in Montana. It's like, I was at the campsite, I had a hoodie on, and then I started getting hot and sweaty, took it off, and now I'm freezing. It is very chilly out here on this lake with a breeze coming off of it. And this is a big lake too. All these lakes up here are just really long, and we'll look at this end down here, then we're gonna have to hit the road again. But you know, it's August 1st and it feels like a November day to me. Overcast, kind of wintry looking, and we're driving the length of the lake, so we'll see more of it. But boy, is it chilly. Gosh dang. You know, I need to remember that every time I pull over and do this, I lose my freaking Google directions. It's so annoying. Like if you have your phone plugged into like the Apple CarPlay thing in your car and then you turn the car off, rather than just have your phone retain everything, it just wipes it out, and then you can't, now I don't have a signal, so I'm flying blind again. So hopefully we can fix this, because it's like I really need to know where I'm going. Who designed that anyway? Is that a feature of the phone, or is it GM's thing? Like what's causing that problem? Alrighty, we got our signal back, so we're all back online temporarily. Got a signal, I don't even know where I'm at now, but it was a long time, but pretty much staying on the same Route 83 for a very long time, and I have another 20 miles before we need to turn onto Montana Scenic Loop Route 200. I got just enough signal there to pull up a map and then lost it again, so it's really pretty. There's just been lake after lake after lake off to my right, just a chain of lakes basically out here. And the sun's coming up over the mountains. It's already 9:30 in the morning, but it feels earlier than that with this lighting. I think we're starting to get into the kind of the more scenic, not that it hasn't been scenic, but out of the woods a little bit, so we can actually see the landscape. There's beautiful mountain streams here and rolling hills and mountains, and it should become more like this the further south we go, from my remembrance. Kind of remember, it's just like, you know, once we got past Seeley Lake and Placid Lake, now it's like turning into a little bit of a different type of scene here in Montana. It's more gonna be a lot of pine trees and like rolling hills, but I think the area like where we have been, like in the far north strip of the Rocky Mountains, the giant landscapes are probably over for now. We're gonna be turning here on Montana Scenic Loop 200 now, and everything's looking good. There is somewhat of a cell phone signal in this town too, so yeah, it's like the landscape's starting to transform back to more of what it was like around Bannock, like a lot of like yellow grass interspersed with pine trees. Really pretty scenery, but it's like we went from one zone into another. And we have to say officially goodbye to the big mountains for now. There'll be more mountains on our journey though, don't worry. We ain't done by a long shot. What is going on here? Are they having a barbecue? My goodness. Feel bad for that guy standing in that dust cloud. But look at that. I love that look of the hills here. It's beautiful. we just turned onto a different route. We're on 141 now. Got about 32 miles till our next turn, which is 12 west. And putting that in my memory, burning it in there in case I opt to stop at some point and lose my connectivity again. But yeah, you can see, like, the further south we go, it's starting to get more farmlandy, open spaces, distant mountains. Still a beautiful scene, a different type of scene, but a beautiful scene nonetheless. And I did actually see a lot of these historic stops on the way. You may have seen a couple, because I said I was going to stop, but then I noticed that some of them actually don't have. There's a couple that didn't have any. Like, it said there was something there, but there wasn't. So I don't know. I think I might have to retract what I said a little bit earlier about those here in Montana. But to me now, it's almost like the landscape's starting to resemble more of what I saw in Idaho. The land of Napoleon Dynamite. Pretty out here in this area. I say that about every place, don't I? But I remember this valley for some reason, specifically driving in here, and it just strikes a special chord in me for some reason. Maybe I was here in a past life. So I think a lot about farming for some reason. Like, as I drive by farms on my travels like this, I love studying the equipment and trying to understand, like, these giant sprinklers on wheels, like, you know, how they work. But it's almost like I'm fantasizing about farm life. And I always try to make it a point, I'm sure it's not an easy life at all. I'm sure when you're in the thick of it, it's a different thing, but at the same time, something calls to me about it. I come from a farming family, so maybe it's in my DNA somehow. But what I'm really interested in knowing is, like, in terms of profitability, if there are any farmers out there or ranchers watching this, always preferring to take kind of the lone wolf approach in life with my wife, just keeping things small and not doing some huge, gigantic thing where I have to employ, you know, tons of workers. What are good crops? Like, what's a profitable way to live, or a way to, you know, make a living farming where two people could do it? Like, what kind of crop? And with modern technology, is it possible? Like, how at some point it's going to scale, just like software that I know, to the point where you need help. You just can't do it all on your own. So that's always one thing that I would like to know more about when it comes to farming. It's like, I want a farm, but I want it big enough where I can manage it myself, or just very small scale in terms of staffing needs. But big enough to make a living doing it. A comfortable enough living where I don't have to worry about money. I don't know if that's just dreaming. Something that I ponder a lot as I drive through these regions. It probably starts with choosing the right type of crops, and maybe specializing in something. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that I know is maybe a challenge is, okay, let's say one day I bought land or whatever. I think you have to worry about water, especially where I'm from in the desert, like water rights and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, if you're in a region where there are lots of farms, I always wondered, like, how do you monitor who's sucking up like the water, and how do you make sure it's fair and you're getting your share and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe that's not as much of a concern in areas like this where water seems to be more plentiful. There's like seems to be a stream or a lake or a pond virtually anywhere you look. But that's another thing that I think about. Maybe I'm thinking about it in the context of a southern Arizona kind of farming community. But in the age of drought and all of that, I'm sure that's just got to be a huge stress, because you can't control the weather, really. But everybody's subject to that, but I'm guessing you're at higher risk depending on what region you're in. But see, like that, like you see all those rolled up hay bales that they do. I mean, that's not done by hand and mules and stuff like that today, right? It's like you'll have tractors and powered equipment. Like, how many people do you need to do that job to do what you see in that field there? Could that be a one-man job with the right equipment, or am I dreaming? So someone comment, let me know. I want to learn more about that. Probably just need to dig in and do research one day and get to the bottom of it. I think we're about to get on the Interstate 90, and we drove through that really beautiful scenic area. I think I filmed a lot of, intermittent parts coming up 90 on the way up there. So we got a lot more to do today. So I'm gonna just take the GoPro off the roof before I get on the interstate, which I oftentimes like to do. And I'm gonna just not record until we get really close to our destination, actually, so we can focus on the Old West. Welcome to Virginia City and Nevada City. And this is where we will leave you today. But tune in tomorrow for a tour of Nevada City, where there is honestly more than meets the eye.